680 News Time, 10:03.
Happening now at Hofstra University on Long Island in New York. The stakes are high in tonight's first U.S. presidential candidates debate. Millions watching the face-off on TV between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, with less than 2 months to go before Americans go to the polls.
680's Mark Douglas joins us now live with the latest barbs in their war of words. Mark.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, Claire. Clinton and Trump have had to face some of their biggest weaknesses in this debate. For Clinton, the scandal around her emails.
I made a mistake using a private email.
That's for sure.
And if I had to do it over again, I would obviously do it differently. But I'm not going to make any excuses. It was a mistake, and I take responsibility for that.
And Trump had to dance around how he has yet to release his income tax returns.
Now, if you want to change the laws, you've been there a long time, change the laws. But I take advantage of the laws of the nation because I'm running a company. My obligation right now is to do well for myself, my family, my employees, for my companies. And that's what I do.
Each candidate hitting a few low notes in this. Clinton was not above some straight-up innuendo.
I have no reason to believe that he's ever going to release his tax returns because there's something he's hiding.
Now, earlier, Clinton stated she would close loopholes for the rich, and Trump vowed to renegotiate trade deals like NAFTA, saying they've allowed American jobs to go to Mexico. Still more to come from this debate at Hofstra University. Mark Douglas, 680 News.
Happening now, the second U.S. presidential candidate debate in St. Louis, Missouri, now in its last 30 minutes. The discussion rich with personal attacks from both sides. 680 Scott Metcalf is watching the town hall-style debate and joins us live with the latest. Scott?
Robin, it was clear this was going to be a tough debate when Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton broke with a tradition and did not shake hands as the debate was getting underway. There's been a lot of sparring, including this moment when Hillary Clinton stayed on her theme that Trump is not fit to be president.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Yeah, because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
We want to remind the audience to please not talk out loud. Please do not applaud. You're just wasting time.
Now, the first part of the debate focused on the vulgar comments about women in an audio tape from 2005 that Donald Trump made. Moderator Anderson Cooper of CNN asked a number of questions about that.
Are you saying that what you said on that bus 11 years ago, that you did not actually kiss women without consent or grope women without consent?
I have great respect for women. Nobody has more respect for women than I do.
So for the record, you're saying you never did that?
I said things that, frankly, you hear these things are said. And I was embarrassed by it, but I have tremendous respect for women.
Have you ever done those
women
things?
Have respect for me. And I will tell you, no, I have not.
Now, before the debate, Trump held a news conference with 4 women who accused Bill Clinton of unwanted sexual advances, and he said Hillary Clinton helped to cover up those cases. No charges were ever laid in any of those cases, and Clinton said she was going to follow with the advice of First Lady Michelle Obama, who said, when they go low, you go high. We'll continue to monitor the remaining half hour or so of the debate, bring you the latest at 10:30. I'm Scott Metcalf.
Happening now, plenty of reaction following tonight's third and final presidential debate in Sin City. There was no shortage of sound bites from the pair as Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump traded barbs on the Las Vegas stage. 680's Scott Metcalf joins us live with some moments from tonight's main event. Scott.
Well, Claire, one of the key moments of the debate was when moderator Chris Wallace asked Donald Trump if he would accept the results of the election if he loses. Trump said he would look at it after the election.
Are you saying you're not prepared now to commit to that principle?
What I'm saying is that I will tell you at the time. I'll keep you in suspense.
In response, Clinton said Trump is always using that things are rigged against him as an excuse.
Let me respond to that because that's horrifying. You know, every time Donald thinks things are not going in his direction, he claims whatever it is rigged against him.
After the debate on CNN, Wolf Blitzer and Jake Tapper both keyed in on Trump's refusal to say that he will accept the results of the American election.
Clearly, the headline, Donald Trump saying he may not accept the result of this presidential election.
One of the most stunning things I've ever heard in a presidential debate ever.
The candidates sparred on a number of issues, including abortion, the economy, and gun laws. They did not shake hands at the start of the debate, and they did not shake hands at the end. Covering the U.S. presidential race, I'm Scott Metcalf.
Number 1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather.
This is 680 News, Toronto.
It's Tuesday, November 8th. Good evening. I'm Scott Burnett.
Good evening. I'm Claire Broussard. Light rain and 12 degrees in downtown Toronto. Here's what's making news this hour.
Election night in the U.S. and Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump in a tight race for the White House. Early results giving Clinton 68 electoral votes, 66 for Trump.
American Democrats in Toronto will soon be either cheering or crying.
I can't fathom Trump being president, so I'm not going to get ready for that. I'm just not going to.
Either way, they'll do it together.
Toronto City Council has voted in support of John Tory's Smart Track plan.
680 News Time, 9:03.
The race to the White House in full swing, and both candidates starting to lock down states and electoral votes necessary to take the big chair in the Oval Office.
680's Kevin Meisner is keeping a close eye on the U.S. election and joins us now with the latest projections and wins for Democrat Hillary Clinton and Republican Donald Trump. Kevin.
Well, Claire, Florida promising to be a key battleground state. That is certainly playing out as the results come in. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton clearly anticipating this, each candidate actually making a total of 40 campaign stops in that state during the presidential campaign. Now, with 91% of the vote counted so far, Trump has a 110,000 vote lead over Clinton in Florida, which promises 29 electoral votes. CNN's Jeff Zeleny is in New York with the Clinton team, and he tells us while this race is very close, results from the large metropolitan areas of Miami-Dade and Broward County have not come in yet.
Secretary Clinton visited there 3 times in the last week alone. They were literally dragging people to early vote. So that is something that is still out. That's why one top advisor tells me just a few moments ago, there is no panic.
Elsewhere, Clinton has early leads in the key states of Ohio and North Carolina. CNN, however, projecting that Clinton will win the state of New York. Trump taking Nebraska and North and South Dakota, as well. The polls closing in a number of states this hour at 9 o'clock, including Texas, which promises huge electoral votes. Now, overall, CNN now projecting that Clinton has won 97 electoral votes, 84 for Donald Trump, 270 needed to win the U.S. presidency. Watching the race to the White House, Kevin Meisner, 680 News.
Meantime, 680's Mark Douglas is at the Democratic Abroad Gathering spot in downtown Toronto this evening and joins us live with the latest. Mark.
Hey, Scott, here at this party for all these expat Democrats, people have been cheering whenever Hillary Clinton makes a gain, booing when Donald Trump does the same.
I can't fathom Trump being president of the United States, and so I'm not going to get ready for that. I'm just not going to.
Now, understandably, one of the most confident people here is the co-founder of Democrats Abroad Toronto, Robert Bell.
I never feared for a moment that Hillary would not win. She will win big. We'll know this by, I predict, 9 o'clock when the Midwestern polls close.
How are you going to celebrate?
By not having the world blow up.
And as you could hear, it's 9 o'clock now, but we are very, very far from getting a winner. The attitude here in the room is that Trump would just be a nonstop disaster. A few people have described watching the election results coming in as a simply nerve-wracking process. Stay tuned for more reaction through the night. At the Marche at Yonge and Front, Mark Douglas, 680 News.
680 News Time, 10:03.
We're getting closer and closer to finding out who will be the next president of the United States, Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump. A number of battleground states will prove to be the difference maker.
680's Kevin Meisner joins us live now with the projections so far and what to keep an eye on going forward this evening. Kevin.
Well, Claire, we have some more projections to report. CNN saying that Donald Trump will win Louisiana as well as Montana. Hillary Clinton claiming Connecticut. Now, Trump holds the lead in projected electoral vote so far. He has 139 to 104 for Hillary Clinton. 270 needed to take the White House. As we hear from CNN's Jake Tapper, Trump's performance so far has been a lot more competitive than many were predicting.
First of all, this is not the repudiation of Donald Trump and Trumpism that I think a lot of Republicans in Washington, D.C. and Democrats hoped. But beyond that, we're seeing a credible path for Donald Trump to the White House. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it certainly could.
Now, in Florida, with 95% of the vote counted so far, Trump has a 105,000 vote lead. There are 29 electoral votes up for grabs there. Clinton had early leads in the key states of Ohio and North Carolina. Both have since tilted in favor of Trump. He also has the lead in Michigan. Now, Clinton has since taken the lead in Virginia. That is a bit of a surprise. She is also ahead in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Colorado. Watching the race to the White House, Kevin Weisner, 680 News.
We continue our coverage with 680's Mark Douglas, who joins us from the Democrats Abroad gathering spot downtown. Mark.
Well, Scott, I can tell you this party really comes alive when Hillary Clinton makes a gain as these election results come in. However, as Donald Trump takes the midpoint lead, cheering like that is coming not quite so often and not quite so loud. Even so, the Democrats here maintain their hope.
I'm pretty sure that America's going to shape up and make the right decision. Yeah, I can't imagine a Trump victory.
That's got to be somewhere in the back of your mind. What are you most worried about?
America already has a lot of problems in terms of division and, a lot of polarizing issues happening, and I just think that Hillary would be more of a uniting force.
I just checked in briefly with the chair of Democrats Abroad Toronto. She told me earlier tonight that she was so confident Hillary would win. She has no kind of speech or anything prepared in case Donald Trump wins. Just spoke to her again a few minutes ago. She's starting to wonder if that was perhaps the right strategy as she came into this event. Stay tuned for more as we get closer to finding out who will be the next American president from the Democrats Abroad party at Marche at Young and Front. Mark Douglas, 680 News.
And we have an update now on a shooting near a polling station in a Los Angeles suburb. The LA Times reporting that following a standoff that lasted several hours, a suspected gunman has been found dead inside a home. Early reports suggested the suspect was a woman, but we have since learned the suspect was male. It's unclear if he was killed by police or from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Earlier reports suggested that the shooter opened fire with an assault-style weapon, killing one and injuring three. The shooting happened around 2 p.m. local time, around 5-hour time, in the northern LA suburb of Azusa.
680 News Time 10:06. A crowd of political staff members and business leaders are watching the results pour in Ottawa, and there is some anxiety. 680's Parliament Hill reporter Cormac McSweeney is there and joins us with more.
You can definitely sense the nervousness here as this tight race continues. Many agree a Clinton win would be easier for Canada, but it's not clear that will happen. Warren Everson with the Canadian Chamber of Commerce says he can see benefits to either scenario, but he's worried about trade and the rhetoric we've heard from Donald Trump.
So anything that would interfere with that, such as ripping up NAFTA, although we might end up on the other side of the swimming pool still dry, it's going to be a difficult and dangerous time for us.
The U.S. ambassador to Canada has been trying to reassure people that not everything said in an election comes to be, and says the relationship between our two countries will remain strong. The Prime Minister has said he'll work with whomever takes the White House, and he'll be releasing a statement when the results are final. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
680 News Time 10:26 now. The 680 News Business Report. 680's Mike Apple is checking market reaction to the numbers coming in the U.S. election and joins us live with more. Mike.
And Scott, right now, Dow futures down almost 700 points. That is a sell-off of 3 3/4%. This is Brexit times 2 or 2.0, I guess we can call it, considering the fact that the U.S. Treasury yields have moved the most since the market response to the surprise Brexit campaign results this summer. We're watching investors and basically computers at this point calculate what a Trump White House means for the U.S., for trade policy, for the economy, and the uncertainty is leading to just all sorts of selling pressure pretty much everywhere we're looking. The safe havens, though, are seeing major buying activity, including gold, which is up $37 now at $1,313. The Canadian dollar is down a full cent now against the U.S. greenback, 74.12, and the exchange rate up to $1.35. So that's a multi-month high for the Canadian exchange rate against the U.S. greenback. Earlier today, we saw, gains for what it's worth. And again, this is all subject to change. This is what the market is seeing and forecasting right now with the Electoral College tabulations, but with some key states still to come, it could all change dramatically. We'll see how this plays out through the evening and into the Wednesday trading session. But as it is right now, Dow futures down over 650 points. At the Business Center, I'm Mike Apple.
680 News Time, 11:33.
Well, we're getting closer and closer to finding out who will be the next president of the United States. It is neck and neck, but projections have Donald Trump leading over Hillary Clinton.
680's Kevin Meisner joins us live with the latest. Kevin.
Well, Scott, another massive win for Donald Trump. The Associated Press projecting Donald Trump will win the state of Florida and its 29 electoral votes. That would push him to 216 electoral votes. Hillary Clinton projected to take California and its 55 votes, her electoral count standing at 197. Trump also winner of the key state of Colorado. CNN's Jake Tapper says the results clearly show strong support for Trump among working-class white Americans.
Even if Hillary Clinton wins tonight, which seems less probable by the hour, even if she wins, there is going to be a real argument that Democrats have ignored white working class voters for too long.
Now, Donald Trump is holding on to a razor-thin lead in Michigan, another key state. It's shaping up to be a real race to the finish here, with a handful of other battleground states still left undecided. At this point, neither candidate has cleared the 270 electoral college votes needed to win the presidency. Watching the race to the White House, Kevin Meisner, 680 News.
And we continue our coverage with 680's Mark Douglas, who joins us from the Democrats Abroad gathering spot in downtown Toronto. Mark.
Yeah, I can tell you, Claire, the crowd here has gotten smaller as the night goes on. The back and forth nature of this history-making night is certainly taking its emotional toll on these Toronto-based Democrats. None more so than the chair of Democrats Abroad Toronto, Julie Buchanan. How are you holding up in this event?
I'm drinking a lot. I did not have a plan. I think I told you earlier for Trump winning. I've got a lot of people here at this party that I'm responsible for, and I don't know what I'm going to do with them if we lose. I was expecting good to triumph over evil just because I think that's the way it's supposed to be in the world.
At Marche with Democrats Abroad at Young in Front, Mark Douglas, 680 News.
And happening now at the Clinton headquarters, we are having John Podesta coming to the podium. He's speaking at Clinton headquarters.
Campaign, but I could say we can wait a little longer, can't we? They're still counting votes, and every vote should count. Several states are too close to call, so we're not going to have anything more to say tonight. So listen to me. Everybody should head home. You should get some sleep. We'll have more to say tomorrow. I want you to know, I want every person in this hall to know, and I want every person across the country who supported Hillary to know that your voices and your enthusiasm means so much to her and to Tim and to all of us. We are so proud of you. And we are so proud of her. She's done an amazing job, and she is not done yet. So thank you for being with her. She has always been with you. I have to say this tonight. Good night. We will be back. We'll have more to say. Let's get those votes counted, and let's bring this home. Thank you so much for all of you have done. You are in all of our hearts. Thank you.
So let me say, it is my high honor and distinct privilege to introduce to you the President-elect of the United States of America, Donald Trump.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Sorry to keep you waiting. Complicated business. Complicated. Thank you very much. I've just received a call from Secretary Clinton. She congratulated us, it's about us, on our victory, and I congratulated her and her family on a very, very hard-fought campaign. I mean, she fought very hard. Hillary has worked very long and very hard over a long period of time, and we owe her a major debt of gratitude for her service to our country. I mean that very sincerely. Now it's time for America to bind the wounds of division. Have to get together. To all Republicans and Democrats and independents across this nation, I say it is time for us to come together as one united people. It's time. I pledge to every citizen of our land that I will be president for all Americans, and this is so important to me. For those who have chosen not to support me in the past, of which there were a few people, I'm reaching out to you for your guidance and your help so that we can work together and unify our great country.
The News Watch never stops. 680 News live 24/7. It's 5:30.
Number one for news in Toronto. This is 680 News.
Here are Paul Cook and Slijana Tominzik.
Good morning. This is Wednesday, November 9th.
It's 8 degrees, mostly cloudy in downtown Toronto. Here's what's making news right now.
Donald Trump is elected the 45th president of the United States.
I will be president for all Americans.
Hillary Clinton conceded defeat but made no election night statement.
Political pundits reacting to this stunning outcome.
It's scary. I'm scared.
He is going to feel unshackled.
It's been a historic election.
Some Canadian politicians are stunned by Trump's victory and say this will be a difficult test for the Trudeau government.
2 bodies have been recovered from a Mississauga pond where a car belonging to a pair of missing Oakville brothers has been found.
A dreadful night on home ice for the Maple Leafs. The Canucks snapped a 9-game losing streak. The Cleveland Cavaliers have their first loss. Sports at 45.
Epic volatility on financial markets. Dow futures recuperating from a drop of more than 800 points, currently down 333. Business at 56.
680 News Time, 5:31.
Time for 680 News traffic and weather together on the ones. Good morning, Helena Balka.
Good morning. Mostly cloudy, 6 degrees at Pearson, 8 and cloudy at 680 News. Already reached the guaranteed high for the rest of the day, near 7.
680 News Time, 5:33.
Defying all polls and predictions, Donald Trump has won the White House to become the 45th president-elect of the United States of America.
680's Kevin Meisner has highlights of an election night that had many glued to their TVs.
A stunning victory for Trump, who played on racial tensions and faced a string of sexual assault allegations during the campaign. In his victory speech, President-elect Trump thanking Hillary Clinton for her public service and calling for unity among Americans to bind the wounds of division across the nation.
Working together, we will begin the urgent task of rebuilding our nation and renewing the American dream.
He also had a message for Canada and other countries after a campaign that included threats to renegotiate international trade deals.
I want to tell the world community that while we will always put America's interests first, we will deal fairly with everyone,
Hillary Clinton made no election night statement, her campaign chair telling supporters they should go home.
Good night. We will be back. We'll have more to say.
Clinton is expected to speak later today. I'm Kevin Meisner.
From victorious and great to shock and revulsion, reaction from around the world is pouring in following Trump's stunning win. 680's Jamie Pulver's here live with the latest on that. Jamie.
Yes, Jenna, the front page of the New York Times says Trump triumphs. People magazine says He's hired. It's a play on Trump's "you're fired" line from his reality show, The Apprentice. But some political commentators are feeling upset this morning, thinking about how Trump may affect issues like same-sex marriage and women's reproductive rights. Hillary Rosen weighing in on CNN.
It may be that this is really just about economic protest and trade, but what happens is you put power in the hands of people who can do this kind of damage. It's scary. I'm scared.
NBC's Chuck Todd offers this perspective.
He blew all of our predictions and models and you name it out of the water. He is going to feel unshackled.
And many wonder if the Trump we saw during the campaign is the same one we will see in the White House. The Canadian immigration site went down even as Trump started surging in the polls last night. Around the world, lots of reaction. Germany's defense minister calls the election a huge shock, while Russian President Vladimir Putin has already congratulated Trump. Reporting live, Jamie Pulfer, 680 News.
680 News Time, 5:35. Our political affairs specialist, John Stahl, joining us now. And you called this. You said Donald Trump before a lot of people were thinking it was going to go that way, before the FBI stuff, before everything that happened.
Many, many months ago, Paul, and it was just because of the way he was speaking at those rallies, the authenticity of his message, the message that was directed straight at those people who were terrified of ISIS, and he was just touching all the bases. And I thought, wow, what's going on here? Something is going on, because they weren't empty rooms. So this was an early stage movement that started. What I think happened was the timing of not only the message of making America great again really spoke to the fear, the desperation of a lot of Americans who lost their jobs. They don't know why. They think Mexico, they think not Canada, but China. He touched on all of those things right at their heart. And not only that, he did it at a time in the campaign. You know, we'll never know whether a month ago he could have pulled this off when that ISIS or that Access Hollywood stuff was happening. Whether the FBI investigation a couple of weeks ago changed the course for Hillary Clinton, none of us will ever know, because this was close enough that I think it could go either way. But I think the real message here is an outsider speaking authenticity with authenticity, like Rob Ford, stop the gravy train, simple message, delivered in language that people understand and really believe, trumps, no pun intended, the professional, polished presentation of politicians in North America.
Okay, we'll be dissecting this all morning long. 680 News Time, 5:38.
It's going to be a long day for those who stayed up late watching the election results roll in. 680's Carl Hanske's heading downtown this morning to speak with bleary-eyed commuters and joins us live with the latest. Carl.
Some commuters here outside Union Station tried to stay up till the final results were known, but couldn't keep their eyes open.
But I woke up in the middle of the night, and a lot of my friends are Americans, so I heard about it through texts and whatnot.
And what's your opinion?
I think it's ridiculous.
For others, news of a Trump victory is a complete surprise.
Just woke up to it. I'll give you a one-word answer: scared.
Why?
I think it speaks for itself.
But while many are concerned how Canada will be affected by a Trump presidency, this banker is looking at a silver lining.
I'm going to go buy a lot of American money today. I'm expecting the Dow Jones to go down and the American dollar to go down, so it'll make for a better trip in the spring. I'm thinking that our exchange rate will definitely go up, so there's a positive to everything that happens in the world.
Outside Union Station, I'm Carl Hansky.
680 News Time, 5:38. So how are the markets reacting? Let's go live to our Mike Heppel at the 680 Business Center. What's happening there, Mike?
Well, markets are still down, Paul, but I'll tell you, when when I left just after midnight last night, actually, it was down about 800 points plus on the Dow. This was Brexit times 2 or 10 or whatever you want to call it. This morning, right now, though, we're looking at Dow futures down 315 points. We've seen wild swings pretty much everywhere. Investors trying to figure out what to make out of this, because now actually the difficult work begins actually following through on all the promises Donald Trump made regarding trade, regarding Obamacare, regarding run down the list. So right now the European markets are down, but if you were just to look at the numbers and not know the headlines, you'd say it's just sort of a typical day on the downside. Frankfurt Stacks down less than 1%. Oil steady. Canadian dollar still down to 74.5 cents U.S. And gold is up $30 an ounce. At the Business Center, I'm Mike Heppel.
680 News Time, 5:39.